Platinum breaks, platinum breaks. What is going on? Well, let's talk about sports card breaking. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Let me first start by saying when I came back in the hobby in 2016, sports card breaking was one of the primary things I did. And I did that for probably 2016, 17, and into 18. Learned a lot. Still break cards every now and then, hasn't been the passion it once was. And I'll talk to you a little bit about why. Before I do that, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I really do encourage comments. Positive, negative, I don't care what it is, but I like your feedback. I learn when you educate me. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about why people break. Why did this happen? Well, let me start with, as the hobby adjusted, prices went up a lot. Now, I know they've gone up a lot recently, but there were some major jumps, like a $100 box, like a $500 box. A $500 box was a major commitment. In fact, I remember listening to the creator of Exquisite talk about that. What breaking did allowed me to share risk. The first breaks really were friends who would go to the local card store and go, "Hey man, you want to split a box together? I'll take the the NFC, you take the AFC, or I'll take this team and you take that team." So whatever it is, people would get together and they were sharing the cost. The other advantage of this was that people could get product that others couldn't get in some locations, right? I'm in a rural area in Virginia. You're at a DC area. You get cards immediately. You can open them immediately. It became fun that I could have them open on opening day. You'd send me in the mail, and as a collector, I could collect and be involved in the collection. Now, the key here was, and the key at this time in breaking was cost. A lot of this was what drove breaking was I could get a shared cost. In fact, what I will refer to as the breaking wars, the early breaking wars, cost and the competition in this market kept price down. And what also ended up leading this was allocation. I did a video talking about allocation before, right? Imports allocation. Well, when breaking first started, no breakers had allocation. Okay. Allocation went to the sports card stores. So what happened was breakers had to either start buying from Disty to start building up their allocation or building up the amount of business so they get allocation. I remember listening to a story, I think it was Mojo Breaks, when they said in 2010, they went and spent a bunch of money. I think it was on Bowman for the pitcher from the Nats, and I forget his name. And when they did that, they made a big investment, but it also got them access to other products that helped them build their business. And that was very key to these breakers, right? These breakers could build their business based on allocation. Now, fast forward, probably 2015, 16, you have what I refer to as the Brandon Cook story. I'm going to share that video with you in a moment. It was on Card Porn, great video. Where basically what happened was you had all these major breakers, but you had this kind of second generation, what I refer to as kitchen breakers. Breakers were breaking and they would try to get product. They got it from disc or allocation, whatever. And they try to break just a little bit more, a little bit less. And then you had fraud, where you saw a guy stealing a redemption on camera. That's the Brandon Cook story. Okay, now this led to a consolidation in the sports card market. Really only, I think, 4 or 5, maybe 10 or 20 major breakers had enough allocation to keep their businesses going. And you had what I remember was a website called Breaker Culture, great website I'm going to talk about in a moment. And Breaker Culture would give you reviews, information about the breaks. You get coupon codes that you could give reviews on product. You give reviews on the breaks with that. If you had any problems, you could post on there in Breaker Culture. Also, blowout cards form was very, very key in this time period. I'll also say back in this time period, blowout, latent cards, platinum cards, these guys weren't friendly. They were competitive, right? And they're competitive on who got what hits. And there was rumors about each one. Oh, he's got a whale behind him. He's got this. Again, the market was not what it was today. Okay. When 2020 came, you had this flood of people in the market. A couple things happened. It flooded the interest. People were going to buy a box of cards for whatever the market value was. The market value went up really high. Now, those breakers who had that allocated prices, they really did well. There are some breakers, and I'm not going to use names, but you can guess who they are, who have greater allocations of products like National Treasures and Prism than any local hobby store in the country. Now, to me, this is a major imbalance. This is also just business. They were buying more and able to distribute more product than a mom and pop store was not being online. Now, again, I don't want to go into the whole thing, but this whole market has led to right now, we have this potential for a lot of corruption. Anybody can be a breaker, right? If you can get product and you can put it at the market value, and this is what led to the run on retail products, right? It's because, again, if I could get retail, I didn't have to sell at retail price or on the, I didn't have to sell a Prism Blaster that I bought for 20 bucks at 40 bucks. I could sell it for 60 bucks if I did it in a break, right? I know it sounds crazy, but there's so much greed there. And it just kind of led to more and more and more. Now, what's happened is all this, as I said before, has inflated the price of a box. Now we still have that false margin that's being taken across the board here between distributors and the person who actually gets the product to deliver it. I'm referring to that as Panini suggested retail price, for example, in a box of Prism is around $300 to $400 across the board in Prism. Okay. However, it's now selling for $1,000+ a box in the market. Again, doesn't make a difference what kind of Prism it is. Okay. Where's that other $600 going? It's going to your disties. It's going to your breakers who have allocated product. Okay. Now, I just gave you a brief history. I'm going to go ahead and pull up some resources here and kind of back some of that up. Let me go ahead and share my screen. First of all, I do recommend going out if you're going to do some research on breaking. I think, again, we are going to see breaking come back, but it's going to come back where you're going to go and only break with people that you trust. For example, in my mind, as a hobbyist, as I change my position, I will probably buy a hobby box with friends that I like and trust, and we'll break it and share the costs together. Be very transparent. There won't be people making a profit of each other, right? Or maybe we'll buy a case together in the future. But that's how I see breaking being very, very important. It will keep the bonds of the hobby together, those friendships, and it'll keep the ability for us to purchase products. I don't see myself going to the major breakers and buying from them on their products because their prices are too high. Okay, but here, some things to point out. Do check this out. There's some conversations about is breaking legal. Breaking is seen as gambling in many states. Keep that in mind. If you're opening a breaking company, you could be violating some gambling laws in your state. So keep that in mind. Or if you're a customer and you're buying, keep that in mind. Do some research there. I'm not telling you it is or isn't, but that's something to be considerate of. Here's the steps to breaking. I think they're important. I'd say this, there's more to breaking than meets the eye. I did some breaking, some Facebook breaking myself when I was doing it for my friends, right? My friends and I would do breaking. I wasn't profiting off them. I would buy cost and we'd break, right? The sorting part kills me. Sorting and then labeling, it's a very, very labor intensive thing. I think there's some interesting things about group breaking. Group breaking, in my opinion, again, work with your local card store or some friends on Facebook. Do some local group breaking where you're sharing the cost. You know how much if they buy a box of Prism, if you get it at allocated prices, break it with your friends at allocated prices. Imagine if you could open a box with your friends and say, hey, this box of Prism costs us all $450, because I got it at allocation prices and I'm sharing it with my friends. That's a hobby move. Tell me if you hear anybody doing that. And I don't want to be involved in it. I just want to encourage it. If you get allocated product and you can break it with your friends at allocated prices, do that. Do it to the hobby. Is it considered gambling? How do I break cards? What's some other things? How much money did breakers make? Is it worth the investment? Yes, most parts worth it. See, the argument I have there is that people have to understand the difference in breaking. There's gambled breaking where you're just like, I'll take a random team. Here's $100. Oh, I got the worst team in the league again. Or there's strategic breaking, like, there's gonna be 6 cases, I'm breaking this specific product, I'm gonna buy this specific team, I know the checklist has this number of cards in it, this is my percentage chance it's hitting. There's good and bad of breaking, okay? So I'm not here to talk about that, but I wanna educate you that there is more to breaking than meets the eye. I actually did do a video about breaking and breakers that I'm gonna share with you in just a moment as well. Anybody can become a breaker. Here's our Panini become an authorized case breaker. That's just thing I mentioned. They give you a discount off the product. Blowout cards used to have a case breaking system too. A 101 for breaking. Again, you'll see, my opinion is too many people are breaking. I do think maybe, I hate to say this, maybe breaking should be more regulated by the manufacturer. Maybe fanatics will start doing that. Like you'll have to have a breaker review, a breaker audit, right? Where they audit your policies, they check your customer feedback. I don't know. Maybe it sounds too much, but just something to think about. Because we apparently as consumers are doing a poor job of this. Okay, well, anyway, I do want you to take a look at this razzing. You should learn about razzing, because again, what happens is you want to fill holes in your break where you can't get it to anybody by a team or anybody to fill the last random spot. So they'll do what's called razzing, which is kind of a raffling off of the team. You should be aware of that. But let me share a couple of things. Here's very quickly here, guys. This is the video. I'll just look like this. Now watch the cards here. Put these cards. There's a card there. It has hand on. Now, I'll be honest, I don't remember seeing it in this video. Someone else had a video showing where the fraud takes place, but listen to this.
Number to 99. Number to 99. Mr. Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks.
Here's sad, but here's this guy's kid in the background. Now here's what he does. He puts up this card blocker. Keep the cards behind it as he's putting the Brandon Cooks away. Or is he? Oh, come on, come on, come on. I'm sorry to keep you guys hanging, but this is worth watching a little bit. Puts in this big display to block, and he keeps saying Brandon Cooks, Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks, number to 99.
And then apparently he moved the card here and took the redemption out. I'll leave it at that. But this point was where the hobby kind of like they came in on this guy. His website went down, and people realized, you know, you have to stop breaking just anybody. It took a Brandon Cooks in 99 incident. Now today you could have 5 or 6 Brandon Cooks incidents, and I don't think people are going to stop breaking. I'm not saying even what Platinum Cards did was a Brandon Cooks incident. I could see how that could have been an accident. I don't understand why they would put it this way. They make so much money on the fact they have allocated products. If they lose their allocations, their business would go under, right? So if they lose their business over being greedy off of $1,000 or $5,000 card, it just doesn't seem logical to me. But hey, who knows? It's a horrible mistake to make. I have a comment to make at the end as well too. Here's a video that I thought was interesting. Platinum Card Breaks and Mojo Breaks it, and this in the video is where they kind of make a comment about, they kind of give some history of their some animosity in the past. Like I know Leighton and Mojo didn't used to get together, I believe. And now it's funny how they're all seem to be friendly. That was not always the case. And I don't think that will be the case as things start to change, right? If Fanatics changes allocation process, like everybody seems to be okay because they got their spots. But if that changes, you're going to see some competition in this marketplace. And I think it really goes back to then, who do you like and who do you trust? Now, I've always liked the Mojo guys because they've given some great history. My criticism of the Mojo guys, their prices have creepingly got higher than they should be. They used to have some of the better prices in the market. Now, I don't feel like there's any value at all buying a Mojo break. I can get a cheaper break on Facebook. I'll put it that way. Same product, I just get a cheaper break on Facebook now. Here's a video I did, 10 Facebook breakers to check out. I'll post this link below. I don't even know if all these breakers are still around. I think some of them have actually gone under because it became so hard to get product, it was so competitive or whatever reason, or maybe just not, the hassle wasn't worth it. I do know several breakers I talked to said, you know, it just wasn't worth the hassle dealing with people to break product. And I can understand that. There's a lot of garbage that goes into breaking. But do check that out as well. Here's an example of one of my favorite. I will make a little plug here for Bargain Box Breaks on Facebook. This breaker, it's funny because I remember watching him when he was a one-man show way back in the day. And the thing I liked about it is he did talk about he hustled and he's breaking product and increased his allocations. And, you know, hey guys, we buy this next year, I'll get 2 cases of NT. And next year he did. And next year for the people who've been around, he gave them access to the product. He just was a good breaker. Since then, he's blown up. He's got people working for him. I still like him. It's somebody that I would go to. But I'll just give you an example. Used to be one of the best in prices, still is one of the best in prices. But I also know those prices have gone up, right? Those prices and the hobby have all gone up because of allocation, which is killing me, man. Here's an interesting closing note on the platinum thing. I heard a rumor, I think Sports Card Radio posted that the guy was back buying breaks. The guy says right here, he does a follow-up video and he says right here, total rumor is always I'd rather spend money, earn money, time now protecting the hobby than do business with them ever again. So he's not buying breaks. I don't think he would either. In my opinion, I think platinum is in an interesting spot because this publicity is not going to help them. And everybody's going to be reviewed for allocation. Now, I do think they're sitting on a stockload of product. They could be around for years breaking product. But I think they'll be interesting to see what Fanatics does. What will Fanatics do is really key. And who's to make the decision? Because you'll see this is a really Wild West world. Now, will Fanatics make these products direct to consumer? Will they keep product a little, control print runs, or will they start mass producing stuff like Beanie Babies and selling it to any local card store, distributor, breaker who wants the product, right? We just don't know. It's a lot to be seen. I will tell you though, in closing, my comments are, again, if you are into breaking, there are some good things about breaking. Break with some friends you know, right? I think there's nothing better than finding 4 or 5 of your sports card friends, picking a box of product you guys like, try together to find it at the best price. Like, see if we can get the local card store. Hey man, I know, can you give me a better price? My buddies and I are gonna do a little breaking group. We're gonna buy a box every month and we'll buy it from you if you give me like 20% off or something. Find a place where you and some friends get together and break. It's something I've thought about. Maybe I'll start doing that with some of my own friends. Maybe just personally breaking a product so you enjoy it. There's nobody, breaking each other over the coals on, I got it for this much and you didn't know. I don't know, just have fun. Don't flip it, enjoy it. That's my last comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, please like, comment. I really, really look forward to your feedback. I know I'm sure I left some stuff out. And again, if you haven't already, please subscribe. One quick reference, breaker culture here. I wanted to add them again. I've been following breaker culture, like I said, probably 15, 16, because they were key to tracking and kind of being a moderator, a central repository for policing of the breaking that was going on at the time, right? They weren't stepping in and doing it, but they were repositories who could talk about it. People were aware of it. And they give you could do reviews, which I thought was very important. I haven't seen that content on Breaker Culture's website. They probably have it stashed somewhere. But what's cool about that is Breaker Culture, Ty has done that. He's now part of Bench Clear Media, and Bench Clear Media has done some stuff. Chasing Cardboard is a show on YouTube. I do recommend it. If you haven't checked that out, do check it out. But it's also cool to kind of see the evolution of people in the hobby, right? Somebody, Ty and I both, I think, had a passion and love for breaking cards, and we've seen how breaking, the importance of it and how it's changed. And I think we both would agree breaking is not going to go anywhere. I won't speak for him, but I personally think breaking is still very important. And again, it's a good example of how we came together as a community to keep things in the right place and keep things going in a positive way. Again, guys, thank you very much. Subscribe if you haven't already.